Have you ever walked into a room and before a single word was spoken, you already knew what kind of experience it was going to be? Maybe you're leading a classroom, you're running a meeting, or even hosting an event, but you knew the energy felt off. People weren't engaged, and no matter how prepared you were, it felt like you were trying to pull people instead of naturally leading them forward. Here's what most people don't realize. We spend so much time preparing content, but almost no time learning how to control the environment that content lives in. Because whether you recognize it or not, you're always setting the tone with your presence, your energy, what you allow, and what you amplify. So here's the real question. Are you intentionally leading a room, or are you reacting to whatever shows up? Today's conversation is for anyone who has ever had to step into a space and own it, because we're sitting down with someone who has built a career on doing exactly that. From stages across the country and internationally, not just playing music, but shaping moments, shifting atmospheres, and moving people in real time, Josh Way isn't just a DJ. He's a curator of experience. And today, we're going deeper than the music. We're talking about influence. We're talking about awareness. We're talking about how to read a room and how to respond in a way that elevates everyone in it. Because when you learn how to lead the environment, you don't just have to force engagement, it becomes natural. So if you're responsible for leading people in any capacity, this conversation is going to change the way you show up. Let's go. Welcome back to another podcast with Felix. I'm so excited here. And Josh, welcome to the podcast, man.
Hey, I appreciate you having me, man. This is fun. This place is dope.
Come on, man.
I love the vibe. Love your podcast. Like, this is going to be fun, man. I'm excited to be
Thank
here.
you so much for taking time. You know, the audience might not know who you are, but I know who you are.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're more than a DJ, right?
Uh-huh.
But that's where I met you, and that's where I connected with you. I saw you turn the tables. But how did you get involved in DJing?
Ooh, okay.
Is that the term now, or is it a mixologist? Or that's something else? Mixologist, something else. Okay, sorry. I apologize. Is that, yeah, so go
Nah, I would say I got started in DJing during a major pivot and shift in my life. I played football all my life from the age of 6, 7. Up to
come on, say he did it. Edit that out. Not just go ahead.
I would say my sophomore year of college.
Okay.
I was transferring down to Florida Atlantic University. Things happened, to make a long story short, and I found myself there too late to transfer anywhere else, and I needed to be able to navigate life. I'm used to that rigorous schedule of wake up, work out, we all have a meal together, go to class, practice. I mean, we're everything, you know? So sitting there as in a sense, not in a bad way, as a regular student, I didn't know what to do. And I found myself just sitting in my dorm room, and I was watching a music festival online. And it was this DJ, he was playing at a festival called Tomorrowland. It was just him on the stage, rocking it out. And the crowd, massive. It's one of the biggest festivals in the world, but it's also the festival that brings the most diversity. So you see all the country flags from everywhere. And I'm like, this one dude is making an impact on all these people in this place. I'm like, I want to do that. And not as a selfish way, because I'm just the kind of person that wants to bring joy to people's lives however I can. And I never had thoughts of being a musician, a DJ. That was never
There was
a
never
thing.
a spark.
No.
Wow. Okay.
No, I never thought DJing's cool. No, I just love the music and I love to dance. I'll be that kid.
Cool.
Like that dude, you know what I mean? But yeah, then from that moment, that day, I got me a controller from Goodwill. Yeah, people don't know that. Hey, shopgoodwill.com. It's
they have a website.
It's like Goodwill's eBay website.
They're not sponsoring this podcast.
They're not. But hey, look, it started my whole life trajectory. So I had to shout them out for a little bit one time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bought a cheapest $7 plastic controller that people would laugh at, if they saw it. But that's what changed my entire life.
Wow. Okay, you say a couple things that are really important that I want to point out, because I always talk about the pivot, the transition. That's where a lot of people lose it. Some people are even in a career right now where they feel like, I can't change now. I can't pivot now because I've been in it for so long.
Yeah. And
the other part is perfection. Sometimes we're waiting for the perfect moment, for the perfect resource, for the perfect opportunity for us to take the step and go.
Yeah.
And I love how you said, Goodwill, I found my first controller to do like you. And sometimes I think I got to save up. I got to do this. I got to do that. Like you started with what you had and you went and look where you're at today. I mean, they don't, but look where you're at today and see what you're doing. But another point is like, I look at, and I've shared about this, I think in the first podcast, it's not saying, why did this happen to me? But why did God allow this to happen for me? Mm-hmm. See, when we're now, of course, in the midst of it.
In the midst of it, I was bored.
Yeah, you frustrated. I played football. We're football players. What you play, DB?
Yeah, I played slot receiver. Kick return, punt return, and a little DB. Yeah,
a little Tyreek Hill. What you did?
Literally. Yeah, that was.
But like this moment, a pivot to where at the right time and at the right place, you're sitting watching TV, and you see now a glimpse of what you didn't know at the time was your future. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think about, yes, out of that pain and that frustration, God was still birthing something in your life though too as well. Yeah. So I love that. I love that how you shared that story and that. So now you're here and you're DJing, right? You're like, okay, you just started like, did you have a mentor? Did you have a coach? What happened? I
went to school for it. Some people might know it. It's called YouTube University.
I know it very well. Yes.
I know. That's what I did. I literally was watching so many videos on YouTube, like learning what the board meant, like what things meant. Like, I was catching on pretty quickly, which was a blessing. And then also, kind of like how I went straight into doing it, I just refuse to allow barriers to step in the way. So yeah, I'm just learning. I'm a brand new DJ. My college had a radio station. I will write it up in there. I'm like, hey, what's good? Like I want to have a radio show. I know you guys have DJs here that DJ events on campus. I want to get into that.
Wow. Okay.
And they looked at me like they were like, oh, how long you been DJing? 3 months.
You said I just started.
I just started. They were like, wow. Whoa.
Okay, so this is like my pet peeve, and some people are gonna take this the wrong way. It is what it is. When people come up to me and they're saying things like, I'm looking for work, or I'm like, again, I know there's that, and I'm just like, there's so much opportunity out there. It is. You walk into a space, not having a resume, not having a portfolio of things, and just looking for an opportunity. That started with you watching something on TV, going to Goodwill, buying something. I work with students all the time, and I share with them, you don't need much to start. Yeah. And even now, they're even in a more better position than when we were in when we were in back then.
It's about humility. That's why people think that you have to have like the best, or like I at least got to have this. No, like if you want it, you'll make it happen.
I love it. Now people might say, Coach Felix, why you got a DJ on here? What does it have to do with anything? Because I know the importance of setting an environment and setting a tone. Mm-hmm. I remember when I first started speaking, and it was my first time, like not my first time, but like my first time going out to a school to speak. Okay. And I remember the kids are in there. I'm, a little bit, anxious. I'm like, you already had studied my message, knew what I was going to say. And I remember just like, everyone, let's give it up for Coach Felix Bobo. And it was like quiet. And I was like, man, this is tough. Yeah. And it's hard to climb up out of the pit and try to, I'm a very energetic person. But I realized this, I said, I'll never come out like this ever again. And I remember I reached out to my buddy who's a DJ and I said, hey, I need you just to like set the tone when I get introduced, or set the tone as students are walking in. And I can tell you, I went back to that same school the following year with a whole different game plan, whole different type of reception. Wow. Yeah. And this is not just for speaking, it's for any environment.
It is.
Like, and I believe that music has the ability to set the tone and set the environment, whether you're in a classroom, whether you're speaking. Parents, you can even use this in your home, what you're playing in your homes. And it even amazes me sometimes. I'm dropping my kids off at school. Some of the music these parents are playing in the car, and I'm like, what kind of tone are you setting for your child going into school? But
7 o'clock in the morning.
How does music set the tone for the environment, you would say, from your perspective?
It's, if I had to break it down into a fraction, it probably has the largest chunk. Wow. It's music, but music at its core is sound. Okay. And it's what you hear. So if you want to look at any environment, you pick a house, right? Say you're going house shopping. You don't want to pick a house where you constantly hear someone on a drill constantly by you, like, no, I don't want to live here. It's too loud. It's not music, but that dictates where you live your home. Like, so when you bring music into it, something that we can control from like our phones, our laptops, iPads, whatever it is, we have so much control over how we can shift an environment. So the moment that you select a song, you're selecting where you're allowing your mind to go. We allow your emotion to go. We allow your feelings to go, and how you view what you're experiencing, or how other people view and experience what they're experiencing.
Now, I'm asking this honestly and wholeheartedly. Do you feel that music truly has that power? That
1,000%, no hesitation. Really? No, like it was created to have that.
Okay.
Creation, things that have been created aren't created for no reason. Things always have a reason and intentionality. And music, at its core, is supposed to just make people move, make people dance. You're supposed to feel something. Whether it's background music and it's just a person playing a harp, it gives you peace. Whether it's rainforest sounds, it makes you sleep. Whether it's green noise, brown noise, white noise, it gives you peace. It calms your mind. Like, people don't understand. Like, it's levels to it more than like people think like, yeah, listen to that white noise that helps you sleep. Yeah, but it's just a sound. So what do you think other sounds are doing? Nothing else. So
music sound frequency has more control in our lives than what we actually think.
Yes.
I love researching culture, and one of the cultures that I love researching, because I spend a lot of my money there, is Disney.
Absolutely.
I mean,
happiest place on earth.
That's what they say. That's what they say. Happy spouse, happy house.
Yeah, there it is.
And so, but I started obsessing with Disney culture. I tell this whole story about how my wife surprised me one year taking me to Disneyland. I didn't want to be there, and I had other plans. I had other things that I want to do. But by the time that, like, we're probably like a couple hours into the park, all of a sudden, like, all those worries and cares of me not wanting to be a park, they seem to go away.
Yep.
And I started researching, like, how did an environment, how was Disney able to take someone from not wanting to be there to all of a sudden, like, I found myself, like, just shoving out money saying, how much is the churros? $7. I don't care. Like, And I found out they do a lot of things intentionally, and a lot of things that we don't even realize as customers, as I would like to say, as people that are participating in this environment. One of the things, to align with what you're saying, is they play music from the time that you enter into that parking garage. They said they even have different music for every different land, because they realize the power that our brain will pick up on certain things, frequency, before we even realize it. So you're walking into Tomorrowland, you're going to hear one song, then you switch over to Fantasyland. Look, I know all the lands.
Hey, I'm like, ball.
I'm like, okay. He's like, I bet you didn't like it. I'm like, did you see Pinocchio? No, but they said how every land has its own, what I identify as music, but now I'll say is frequency.
Yes.
Wow. And it has the ability to shape and shift a mood of how maybe a person is feeling.
It immerses you.
Wow.
Like, it's immersion.
On the contrary, I shared this story with a lot of the students that I work with. And I remember I went through a tough time in my life. I was in a relationship, and thankful, that relationship, ended. But I remember the hard part was when we were going through that tough time, that tough season, I wouldn't put on songs that would make me feel better. I put on songs that help me, like, reminisce.
I talk about that all the time. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, you're upset. Like, bruh, you telling me, like, women out there. Even guys. You telling me you going through a breakup, you going through a tough time, and you want to put on Taylor Swift talking about a breakup song. We belong with me. Like, what do you think is about to happen?
Well, you're going to think about that stuff 24/7. And that just shows you the power of music. It can help you to stay in a funk, or it can help you to come out of it.
Dog.
And I shared, it's just so powerful. And this is why, again, I was like, who do I have to talk about this environment? Like, you're the first person that popped in my head. I was like, man, I've seen you move a crowd.
I appreciate that.
I've seen the energy, and I've seen how, especially working with students, like, we can even dive into that. You never know, especially when you're dealing with middle school and high school students. It's like, I don't want to be here. And I've seen students going from, like, I don't want to be here, to where it's just like, and they're like, and I'm just like, wow, the power of music. And oftentimes it's not like you were saying anything on the mic. It's just that you just let it go with the music. And I think that there's something we can learn from that in education. I think that that's something we can learn from in the speaking field.
Yep.
The power of setting the tone and setting the environment
Absolutely.
for your event.
Yes.
How intentional should people be about what they listen to daily?
Like you say, we were just touching on that. Like you say, you're going through a sad time. Why put on sad music? You're going to stay there. You having a hard day at work, or you're mad about something. Why you playing DMX with a hood, with a hood, with a hood? Like, what do you think?
Ready to slap yourself like that's why.
Like, so when if you put that on because it makes you feel better about where you are. So people understand it without understanding it. That's why they lean towards this music. When they're like in a romantic relationship, people lean towards R&B because they know it makes them feel good. They know it without knowing it. So if you find yourself understanding the power of music, why not do it to counteract what you're experiencing? So if you're down, you bring something that's uplifting.
Even though it's hard.
Yeah. You do it anyways. Yeah. And a lot of people, okay, look, I'm a black dude. I'm from DC. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and people look at me sometimes like, you listen to EDM and house music? Bro, you telling me you listen to wait till you can't be mad.
You can't be mad. You can't like just
like you can't, bro. Like
you just gave me the perfect picture. Like that music has the way of just like, again, I share this when I speak about how I was walking into Disneyland like this, and all of a sudden, a couple hours into it, my arms were unfolded, and like envision that music is kind of like wrapping around you and just making you like just wow.
Yes,
I never thought about that.
And to be able to be in my position of a DJ and now artist that produces my own music, it's a responsibility. And a lot of people can look at him like, oh, come on, DJ. Like the amount of times that people have told me how much their life has changed in a night and in a moment where their mindset has shifted, like has blew my mind. Like people have came to me in tears like, oh my gosh, I don't think you realize how much I needed this. And because I understand that people here in this room, in this space, in this place, they need something that's going to help shift where they could possibly be going through right now in their life. And I carry the opportunity to be able to help them.
Music also and frequency has the ability to trigger things within our brain. There was times when I was an educator in the classroom overseeing programs where I would use different musical cues to, without even saying anything, to transition my students from one thing to the next thing. So they would come into the space, I would play a certain song. So they already knew what they were supposed to do when that song was winding down. They do, and it's amazing to me. It's, again, call it programming, call it whatever you want, but it's just like music has the ability to do that.
Yes.
To where even when it was time to clean up, I would play a certain song and even have to say, guys, it's time to clean up. They knew when that music came on, they knew to start cleaning up. And they knew exactly what to do because the music had since kind of trained them, programmed them to kind of respond in a certain kind of way.
Yep.
That's the power of frequency. That's the power of music.
Frequencies.
So how much of it, I would plan that out. Like I would plan out what songs I'm going to do. I would even like how I would want to start my day. There would be songs, again, this was years ago, because I'm happy. Like, at every single event you got to throw on the cha-cha slide. I don't know, man. Okay. But there's always certain things that I would lean on that I know would be able to get students, to get people feeling a certain type of way. How much of what you do is planned and how much of what you do is in response to maybe what you're seeing or what you're feeling in an environment?
Okay. I would say it changes.
Okay.
From space to space, to group. I always go in with a plan of how I want to start and how I want to finish. The in between, I allow me to sense the environment. You know what I mean? Because you can feel what people are going through. You can see how people respond and react. And not to get into like the nitty gritty of the DJ life, but that's what separates a DJ from a good DJ to a great DJ. That separates someone that like DJs for fun versus someone like myself that's been able to do it for 11 years. Solely, and so I want to make sure I start where I want them to be at. So I will never start like, all right, guys, let's get onto the dance floor.
Exactly, yeah.
And I play like some chill song.
Yeah.
No, like I was just talking to a client a couple of days ago for their wedding this Saturday. it was like, all right, after they're done their last toast, I'm like, all right, it's time to make your way to the dance floor. Immediately, put your pinky finger to the moon. They're like, oh, I already know they're going to want to dance. Like, so I always want to make sure that I bring joy. Me personally, that is my life's decision, that I want to bring joy and foster joy and celebration whenever I DJ. And that responsibility can change from a private event like a wedding or something like that versus my performance side of DJing, where I 100% immerse myself and I dictate every song in the exact order I want it to be, because I'm giving you a part of myself in this. And that's it. People don't often realize, they see DJ as like, it's just a cool thing, you're a party guy. Like no, if you DJ selflessly, I DJ for the people. I DJ for you. I DJ for the guys that are editing, that's listening to us right now through these microphones. I DJ for them. I want them to feel better. So I foster that with so much care and delicacy. I don't just play music to play music. I create an environment and a space that I know and I hope will bring a smile to their face, let them move just a little bit more than they've moved before.
What type of person do you need to be to do that? Because I think that sometimes we can get so much in a routine. It's easy. You said 11 years. You've been DJing for 11 years. It's easy for you to get in a routine and just like, look, I'm a professional. This is what I do. Like, this is the playlist. This is what you're going to get. Don't ask for no more, no less. This is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, hey, Josh Wade, can you play that song that, you know, whatever it may be.
Yep.
But like, what type of space do you have to be in before you even step foot on that platform to lead a crowd in a movement, to set the tone? I would imagine that you got to make sure that your things are in check.
Yes.
You know, because you can also, which you can emit off what you're feeling on the people. Like
1,000%. I ground myself before before I start. I ground myself. So I grew up in a church, you know, spiritual background. So I always will, while I'm like either changing, I never come fully dressed. I set up in a different attire so I can make sure I go and have my space. So I go into the bathroom, I'm changing, I'm like a little prayer, centering myself. And then right before I get to the booth, I'll lean right before my booth, say a quick little prayer. I get up and I'm just, boom, let's get it. Because it's not about me. Like I said, it's not about me. And me knowing the power of music and my emotion, I can dictate where I'm going to project or I'm going to allow them to have the best time of their life. Because it's not about me.
You are guiding and leading people. Because I have educators, I have students that listen to this podcast. And so even though an educator, a part of what they can do could be playing music in an environment, they're still leading and guiding people.
Yes.
And this is one of the things I always try to convey to them. You being in the right space is so important when you're leading and guiding people. And I love how you say you ground yourself before that. I wonder how many people, how many parents, how many teachers, how many students ground themselves before they go into an environment. Because if we're not careful, we can bring our issues, our problems, and
everything.
We can bring it into that environment.
Yes.
That
it doesn't even belong there.
It doesn't even belong there. And here we are fighting and arguing about something that really has nothing to do with that thing that we're facing right now. It has something to deal with something that the traffic that I dealt with on the way here. And I love how you said you arrive, because I can imagine sometimes maybe traffic, and that can kind of throw a whole wrench in there. I
was just about to say that.
The problem. Yeah.
Yes.
What were you going to say?
Said that oftentimes we go through life and there's a lot going on, so we feel rushed. So we just go into moments. We just go into spaces and places without centering ourselves. So that's not like in any way, if you're hearing this, to fault yourself and be like, dang, I really do that. No, that's not what this is about. Yeah. This is okay, I'm gonna do that next time. So it's not a shame moment. This is I'm learning and I'm gonna grow from moment. So like I said, music is audible, is what we project. Well, it says music, but it's the same thing. But like I said, sound from our voices. So we can go from the traffic and then we come into our house with an attitude and screaming to the top of our lungs, frustrated about other things because we didn't allow ourselves to center ourselves. And that comes back to the selfless intentionality. You know, the traffic had nothing to do with your kids. The traffic had nothing to do with your spouse. The day that you had at work had nothing to do with them. So if you bring that into that environment, now you're allowing your work that had nothing to do with them rub off on them. And now in return, because it's never a one-way street, now they're seeing you in a certain way. Now you're creating an environment like, oh, when they get back from work, we got to make sure we're on eggshells, or we got to make sure that we're not acting this way because when they get home, this is how they respond.
You're so spot. Thank you for this counseling session. Man. I needed it because again, these concepts and what you're sharing is things that I'm aware of, but to hear it confirmed, I'm just like, okay, my suspicions, were correct. I wasn't just saying like, hey, we have to be careful of the things that we're bringing into an environment because we have the ability to kind of share that with those that we are trying to connect with, right? Everything is a connection. Like, so what I'm connected to coming into a space is what I'm oftentimes, if I'm not aware of those things, I'm going to pass on to other people as well.
Yes.
And so this goes back to the things that we listen to and the things I equate it to this, how we exchange our time.
Yes.
And oftentimes how we exchange our time. And for some of our younger people, our teens, they're exchanging their time for constantly listening to certain things, music.
Yeah.
And
live with the earphones in there.
Yes,
the AirPods,
they
live with it on there.
So as parents, I think that sometimes we're fighting a battle that seems impossible. Teachers are fighting a battle that seems impossible because you are competing with something that they have spent 80, 90% of their day listening to.
Yep.
And I'm not just talking about music. I'm just talking about what they're streaming online, the things that they've taken in, everything. And think sometimes as adults, we have trouble managing this, regulating our emotions. Yeah. Imagine what a 13, 14, 10-year-old is going to have trouble doing. Yep. I found my son the other day. He came home. He was singing some song. I'm like, how you know that song? He's like, well, it popped up on a YouTube video. And it's just like, because we're very aware. We're very aware, like, it's different. I remember my dad, he found my, I don't think I've ever told you the story, man. He found my Dr. Dre Chronic 2001 album. I say album, right? CD. I remember that I was listening to, and I remember I came home from football and I was trying to find my CD to put it in the CD player and listen to it. I couldn't find it. And I don't know how I ended up in the trash can, but I remember going to the trash can, and it was on top of all the trash, and it was snapped in half. There was no chance of me ever getting
he wanted
that
you
back.
to see that.
Yeah, he wanted me to see that. I was like, and I laugh about it now, but I realize even as a young man how much music was shaping my actions and how I responded in a certain kind of way.
Yep.
And the things I begin to say and how I begin to view people, how I begin to look at women. Like a lot of that thing stemmed towards the things that I was listening to. I loved, I'm a little bit old school, I guess. I would say old school, but 50 Cent was like my era. You know what I mean? Like I would listen to him on repeat, like so much that I started to like walk and talk. Even people start to say this, they're like, "Do you kind of look like 50 Cent?" Now again, it wasn't that I was shape shifted or anything like that, but I think that like the things that we listen to, we begin to embody.
Yes, 1,000%.
I remember the big era was Eminem, and I remember at my school how many kids have dyed their hair blonde and they were walking around with Dickie pants on and a white T-shirt. And
I had that moment too, bro.
Music has the ability to shape who we are. The things that we listen to has the ability to shape who we are.
Absolutely.
And this is why I try to convey to parents. I know we live in a day and age now where it's not just CDs anymore where we can find them, but we have to be careful with sometimes what our kids are listening to, what they're watching, because they will begin to shape the behaviors. And you can do everything that you can do as parents, as teachers, as leaders to try to shape decision-making and have them like going in the right path. But if you're competing sometimes with that thing that they've been listening to 24/7, what is going to win is what they spend the most time on. And so we just have to be, because music has the ability to influence us like that. How we talk, how we respond. I'm sitting in traffic, and listening to certain kind of things. Most of the time I'm trying to listen to some positive music or some podcasts, but sometimes I'm just, something come on, I'll find myself driving a certain kind of way.
Got a little lean going.
I have to be aware of that because like we don't realize how powerful the subconscious mind is.
Yes.
And music is one of those things that our subconscious mind would pick up on things.
Our brain never cuts off.
It never shuts off. It never shuts off. And so I think that we have to be aware of the things that we're constantly taking in, especially the music that we're listening to.
Yes.
Last thing I would say about this is just, I work in a lot of school settings. And this is my pain point because how do we go from, where do we draw the line from being, you want to be cool and hip and they're already listening to it to you realize that certain things that you wouldn't okay or deem appropriate on your school campus but yet in every song that you're playing is pretty much glorifying this lifestyle that you're saying, students, like where do we draw the line? Like, do you feel that it has an influence? Like, okay, for instance, like they might be playing certain songs from certain artists. I'm not going to mention the artists, but yet if they were to see any of that stuff on campus, they'd be like, oh, you can't do that.
Exactly. Yep.
But yet we're playing music that glorifies the culture that we're saying is not okay.
Because I feel like oftentimes in life, we belittle things without realizing it. So, like you're saying, like you're playing music that you know is not okay. It's like, oh, it's just a song. Like, you know, and like they know it. We like, we just dance to it. Yeah. Like, not to be like doom and gloom, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's going to make a difference. Yeah. It's impossible for it not to. Yeah. So I'm not saying like, hey, you better change every song you've ever listened to and wipe it clean. Like I'm saying that without saying that. You know, it's intentionality. Like it is. Because
I think that even like messages can be looped over beats without us even realizing.
They are.
You know
that's what music is. Music is that.
Yeah, you'll find yourself saying like you singing a song, and I'll go back and like, hey, I was saying that back then. But like, and what I would often hear from people that I work with is I like the beat, but you don't realize they like the industry knows you like the beat. Yes. So that's why they'll make a nice beat, and yet what are they putting over that beat that our subconscious mind is picking up on that we don't even realize? And so I say in environments, it really has to be intentional on what kind of environment are you setting when you're inviting people into your space? What kind of frequencies are you putting out there? What are you trying to hit a let's go? Are you trying to bring like I'm trying to have my students or have my people come in more calm? Yep. So you might want to think about what you might have to be some Mozart or some Beethoven or whatever along the lines of that's going to be able to kind of direct them into the direction that you want them to take though too as well. So man, that's good. I never knew how much power music had. Have there been moments that you realize music made an impact beyond just the entertainment factor? Do you have like a story of someone coming to you and saying like, man, like I really needed that? Yes.
One story that I will always remember and always tell people is I was like a birthday party or something out in like Orange County, maybe like 5 years ago. And it was this old white lady came up to me, tears in her eyes. This lady I think she said she was like 80 something. She said, I haven't felt this good and danced like this since high school. This lady's 80 years old. High school age is 15, 16. Wow. It's been 60 years since this lady enjoyed a time and moment like that in her life.
Was it the songs you were playing, or was it just the energy that was just in the space?
It was both.
Both, okay.
It was both because the songs create the energy. And the songs create the energy and people respond. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It starts there. We weren't playing games and I wasn't like, hey, let's go, let's get it. Look. No, I was intentional with where I wanted these people to go and what I wanted them to feel, what I wanted them to sing, I was intentional. Not for praise. I don't do anything for praise. Like I said, I do everything selflessly. So for her to come up to me, and that's not, I've gotten that quite a few times, and it's never, I get used to hearing that. It's a thank you. Thank you, God. I'm doing something that I would love to do for the rest of my life.
That's, when you were mentioning that, I never have kind of like made this reference before, but I think that music and frequency has ability to like transport us
to time travel.
Yes. Because there are songs I remember we used to commute from LA to the Inland Empire when I was in school. And I remember back in the day, it was like a lot of old school, 70s music that my parents would listen to because of what that connected with them. Yep. Not realizing that I was going to connect with them. So when I hear certain songs, I think about going back, traveling. In that, my parents had this huge Suburban. Okay. We used to call it the way, way, way back, And I remember coming home after a football game and driving those cars, listening to that music. And whenever I hear those songs, I think about those times with my family in the car. Same thing when I hear a 50 Cent song, I think about getting ready for a football game
Yep.
and putting on my shoulder pads and like rolling around with Rich, different things like that. So there's different things. I think that we don't realize sometimes what we're doing in the present moment and the impact that it's going to have on someone 10, 15, 20 years from now. Because maybe in your classroom or in your environment, you're playing a song and maybe they left feeling like amazing. But maybe 5 years from now, they're not having the best of time. And maybe they're in a space one day and they hear that song that you played 10 years, and it brings them back to that place of like, man, I remember that. All of a sudden their mood changes.
And it's not even a maybe, because I have that. I remember my middle school song that they would play over the PA every morning.
What was that?
It was, I can't remember the name of the song. It was the Wake Up Everybody, there's no sleeping in bed.
I love it. Okay.
Whenever I hear that, I'm like, man.
Yeah.
What? Like it just makes me feel
middle school Josh walking around.
Yes, bro.
Man,
like,
okay. All right.
So it's living proof. It will make an impact. So do you want, people to feel good when they hear a certain song and be like, I remember that time with that teacher and those times was amazing? Or do you, whatever song y'all playing, I ain't gonna say that. I can cancel.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But it's people don't realize that the little things will make such a huge difference in life. And music is one of those things. We think it's so little because we just have so ease of access to it. That we can just like, let me boom. Play in the background while I make my food because it's so easy. So our minds have learned to downplay or just think like, yeah, I'm throwing on some music real quick. Music was not meant to, let's put this on real quick. Music never had that intention. Like music was always played intentionally in Kingdom for Kings and Queens and ballrooms of the wealthy, and because it gave them a sense of power, of status. They understand that from thousands of years ago.
Wow, I never. Okay,
like,
all right.
The intention has been there from the beginning of time. That's just got to be responsible with it.
You said something. It's the little things, and I hate to keep always reverting back to this, but that's what Disney did for me that day because people look right. This is what I share. I said Disneyland is not only the only amusement park. Nope. Right, they don't even call themselves an amusement park, right? But they're not the only amusement park.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this: there's a way that I feel when I go to Disneyland than when I go to any other amusement park.
Yep.
And I say what separates the two is the attention to details, and it's the small things. The same thing for parents. There are millions of parents out there, and some that are struggling, some that are thriving, right? And I would tell you this, it isn't how cool or what you buy your kids, because we hear stories all the time that kids that have it all still don't have it all. I can tell you this, it's the little thing, it's the little conversations.
Yes.
It's the little rides in the car. It's the little things. And I think that sometimes we're so focused on the big things that we forget to do the little thing. I got to make sure that my son Jackson has the latest shoes and this and that. And all Jackson might not even realize it. But what he really needs is just a conversation with his dad about life. Those are the things. Just like music, right? We overlook it because it's so accessible. And sometimes it can seem so easy, like play music when the kids walk into class, but you don't realize that can trigger a student that was having a bad day, maybe mom or dad yelling at them, leaving the house.
As soon as they woke up.
And here they go. That's the one thing that triggers them. From when they walk into your room, the music that they hear lets them know I'm in a safe space. I'm in a space to where I'm seen, where I'm welcome, where I feel safe, where I'm not going to be belittled, where I'm not going to be bullied, but I'm here. That music, because of the subconscious mind, has the ability to trigger that. And that can take a student from being closed off, walls up, to where that's what it is. The walls can be lowered down just based on the music that you play.
And like we just said a couple minutes ago, that will carry on for years in their life. So them hearing that song and how you make them feel during that or after that song is what they will hold on to for the rest of their life. Wow. So you can say like, all right, I guess I'll switch over to like some calmer stuff, and you create that moment of peace. What you're doing now, you think it's small, but then later on in life, when they need to calm themselves down, they might put that exact song on that you chose.
Same exact song because you made the connection for them.
It might change their life. It might dictate and reshape a decision that they're about to make as an adult with their kids by them putting that song on and having a moment of solitude and peace and reflection because of what you instilled and rooted Like, like, man, it's
And I know we haven't even mentioned it, but music is language.
it is. Yes.
Music is culture.
Mm-hmm.
Music is more than just chords and melodies. Like it's part and frequencies. Like this has a way of communication.
Yes.
And I think that when we begin to understand the power of that, and no matter what space you're in, you're getting ready to speak. You have the ability before you even open your mouth and speak, that you can set forth the tone in your environment just based on what you're playing. This happened to me not that long ago. I was getting ready to go speak at a conference, and they were asking, "What's your walk-up song?" And I was actually downplaying it, like you were saying. I'm like, I don't want no walk-up song, man. I just want to get there and do my thing. And because I was like, these are adults, they don't care about no walk-up song. But I tell you this, like that walk-up song, it allowed me to connect with people in the audience that I probably wouldn't have connected with when they're just holding the microphone. Because when they heard the song that was played, they were like, "Oh,
yeah, there it is."
And you know what? The song that I played was Forrest Frank.
Okay.
I played a Forrest Frank song. I don't remember exactly what song it was. It maybe been Thankful. I don't know. It was something. But I can see the response of a few people in the room, and it was just like, whether I don't know if they were going through a difficult time that morning or that week, but they heard the song and you can just see they were like, "Oh, that's what I needed."
Boom.
I was just like, wow.
It's beautiful, man. That's
Not realizing the power of that moment.
Yeah.
And humility. I don't know if we mentioned this before podcasts or while we were recording, but just I had to be humble to the point where I just said, like, I can have something go before me, before I even go and speak, that I can set the tone, that it's not just about me. You say this, it's not just about me, but I'm a servant. And I have a responsibility. I have a gift that I need to share with the world. But some people won't receive your gift because we haven't created an environment for it to be received in.
Yeah.
And I would say that sometimes it's not just the gift that's important, but it's the environment that we set for the gift to be received in. And sometimes people won't ever receive the gift if we don't do a good job of setting forth the environment for the gift to be received.
Yeah.
That goes for the classroom. Teacher, you can be a great teacher, but if we're not setting up an environment to where that gift can be received, this is the important part of relationship building. And I work with people all the time. They're like, they're just not understanding the kind, because we have to go back to the basics and say, how do we build this relationship with a student? Because when we build that relationship, whether it be through music, whether it be through small conversations, whether it be through connection, hey, what's up, the fist bump, we don't realize that what we're doing is we are helping individuals to lower their walls down so that you can share what you have with them, because they need what you have, but they'll never receive what you have as long as their walls are up.
Yep.
Because as long as our walls are up, nothing can get in, but guess what? Nothing can get out. So people won't tell you what they're struggling with. People won't tell you what they're dealing with. People won't tell you sometimes what they're frustrated about until that wall is lowered down. And I know that music has the ability to do that. Yeah. And even in different settings, in church settings, in school settings, in home settings, it has the ability to do that. My mom would always throw on some music when it was time to clean up on Saturday morning.
Yeah. Oh, whoa. Whoa, it doesn't mean to wake you up out of your sleep.
I tell you, it was so powerful. But again, I do this for, as you mentioned, I do this for the people. I do it for the educator that's in the classroom that's struggling to make the connection with the student. Yeah, I do this for the parent that maybe they're in a space right now, their child hit puberty and they say, Felix, I don't know what to do. Is this normal? I do this for the student that maybe trying to understand and know a little bit more about themselves and about the world, and realizing that sometimes it's more than what we see, and more than what we actually, see with our natural eyes. But so if when we're talking about music, when we're talking about frequency, if you could speak to the educator, the person that maybe even in a space where they're leading people, like what message would you share with them on the importance of this? And I know you said about not looking over the small things, but anything else that you feel will resonate with those individuals?
Absolutely. I would just like to say that you have more of an impact than you realize. Don't allow yourself to think that you're just doing a role. You're just doing something. Not in a way where it becomes selfish, not in a way it becomes big-headed, where it becomes about you, but rather about understanding the responsibility that you have. We're all humans, and we're no greater than one another. but we're all held responsible for what we bring to one another. And you have a responsibility, and it's amazing and it's commendable. It's brave. Leaders and teachers, it's brave. It's so brave to step into the places that you have. And with that bravery comes responsibility. So don't take that as like, oh God, I gotta overthink this. Don't overthink it. Just know, like, in your heart, you know that you're doing it for the right reasons for your students, for their futures. Because you might be teaching a student, but you're also shaping a head of a household. You might be talking to a student, but you're also shaping a CEO of a business. You don't understand the impact that you have, that your words have. Your words and your actions is music of your life. So you give out those frequencies. You give them music through your words, your actions, the way you speak, the way you communicate. Don't take that lightly, but also don't run from it. Because it's a beautiful responsibility to have. You got it.
I love it, man. Whew. I love it. Okay, awesome. Now, speaking to the student, the young Josh, you know,
ooh, okay,
the middle school walking
Mohawk rocking Josh.
But you're speaking to that student that maybe, you know, their music is more accessible than ever before. You know, we would have to go buy CDs, tape.
Go to Target.
Yeah. You would have to go to the Circuit City. These places where you have to go
city,
buy.
It's my city.
Yeah, exactly. You had to go to these places and buy these music. So it was, and then they even used to throw, sorry, you can't buy the CD. It's parental guidance, so you need an adult to buy this for you. But now it's just so accessible. And even when you like don't have access to maybe a streaming platform, it is, you know, on videos. It is in movies. It is. So what would you say to that young person that maybe like they're in that stage of not realizing how impressionable they are with everything that they're taking in?
Honestly, like, music shaped my life. And it's also one of those things where you make the decision to change what you listen to and what you take in. Don't feel weird or an outcast about it. Because hear me when I say this. What I'm doing right now, what I'm projecting right now, I decided a long time ago before I realized it. So y'all might not even know the name Roscoe Dash, but his song was always about being turned up and getting lit, but not in a bad way. It was like all the way turned. That was like my favorite song, like locker room song, sports song. But because of that, that's why I live life here. Why? Because there's people out there living here. And if I can live here, I can bring them up at least to here. And that's what I decided with my life. So what you're bringing into your life will help shape your future, whether you realize it or not. You allow yourself to take in dark music, like, you know, mosh pitting and all that stuff. I get it. It's lit. You know, you shove your boys around in the pit. I get it, dog. Like, but there's songs out there that get that same vibe without them talking about destruction and death. And you know what I mean? Like things like that. So like, just be real. Like at the end of the day, it's your life. What you decide to listen to matters so much. And don't think that you're not cool for not listening to everything. Because everything out there is not bad. We just got to be selective about what you're taking in.
And how much time you spend listening to it.
Absolutely. Like, if you listen to good music, right music, like, hey, look at my music on Spotify. I'm kidding. But if you know, like, the music that you know is good for you, then yeah, go ahead and keep living with that AirPod in your ear. If it's uplifting you. If it's talking about the future that you're going to create for yourself. Like, if that is, then I can live with it. Even if your parents take it out, hey, all right, I'll take it out for dinner. And you pop it back in. You talking about how your life's going to be better, how you're going to start this business, then listen to it all day long. But if you know, like, don't play yourself. Don't play me.
G-Unit.
You know, like, come on, dog.
Okay.
What up, gangsta? Like, what you mean, dog? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Like, it's not always about being cool. It's about being responsible. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. You go to sleep with your own head on your own pillow. It's your own mind and your own thoughts that you often can hide from other people. So if you know you're hiding thoughts that you don't want to share with other people because of things you're going through, then at least treat yourself better and allow yourself to heal by what you take in. You know what I mean?
Come on. We have this motto at my company, Unlimited University, is I choose who I become. And I think that, a big part of that is we choose who we become basically based on the things that we're taking in. And those things that we take in begin to shape our reality. And so if you don't like to see the things that you're seeing, you have to ask yourself, or you don't like the person you're becoming, what am I investing in my life that's helping me to become the person that I desire to be? And so that's the question. The accountability always goes back to us. We can always shift our perspective in life. Some bad things are going to happen.
Yeah.
I wish they didn't, but things are going to happen in life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe things have happened in your life, but we can always shift our perspective, just like you did when you had that pivot and the end of your football career, a sport that you probably love, a sport that you play, maybe had dreams and aspiration of how far you can take it, right? To where now you have this pivot moment, because you could have sat there and cried and grieved over it, but something shifted your focus and says, I want to go all in on that. Mm-hmm. And I think you went all in. And that's my number one push to individuals is like, whatever you're going to do, go all in on it. Don't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Go all in on it and just watch what you can accomplish with going all in on that thing and not allowing people, problems, excuses stopping you. Mm-hmm. There's a goodwill. There's marketplaces online. You can go find something, whether it be a camera and you want to take pictures, whether it's a microphone and you want to speak, whatever it is, you can accomplish that thing with the right mindset. You are going to choose who you become.
Yep.
You're choosing who you're becoming today. You're choosing who you become tomorrow, but based on the investments that you're making today right now. But man, I thank you. How can people, if they want to listen to your music, if they want to follow you, see where you're traveling next, because you are an international superstar. Y'all don't know it, international superstar, but like, how could they keep up with what you're doing? If they want to listen to some of your mixes, I don't know if that's what they're called, but how can they do that?
You can find me online anywhere. The easiest way is if you Google Josh Way, that's JOSHWAYY. And all my links will populate there: Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Music. So just like how we're talking about music accessible, so is mine. You know what I mean? My music's not going to tear you down. It's going to build you up. So
come on, I'm about to go check some of that out right now.
Hey, there we go. I just be like, hey.
Well, y'all, it's been a pleasure today. I hope not only were you inspired and motivated, but I encourage you to take action in every area of your life. Until next time, let's go. Let's get it. I want to thank you for joining me on the Felix Bobo podcast. I hope today's conversation sparked some new ideas and gave you the encouragement to lead and learn without limits. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe and share it with another educational leader or anyone looking to make a difference in the world of learning. Remember, this podcast is just the beginning. You're now part of the family, a community dedicated to creating lasting impact. Until next time, keep leading with heart, keep learning with joy, and let's transform education together. Thank you for listening.